Move to the next topic. We're going to talk a little bit about Crimson Circle and the direction we're taking, where things have come and gone. So I'm going to let's all take a good deep breath as we kind of transition. Talking about Crimson Circle. You know, I think everybody knows we started in 1999 in a teepee, literally, down in Southern California, or Southern Colorado, an Indian teepee.
Not toilet paper,
yeah,
an Indian teepee.
We'd been doing a few channels before then, but we kind of marked that on August 21st, 1999, as the official start, because after that we did channels on a regular basis and everything kind of coalesced. We moved out of our living room shortly after that, moved to beautiful Coal Creek Canyon Community Center, where we spent a lot of years, had a lot of great memories. And those early years were, with Tobias, were really the time of awakening for a lot of us and reuniting with each other. To this day, I don't know how it happened because we didn't plan it. We didn't think about it. Linda and I were both kind of doing other things, had other careers, and Crimson Circle just started growing.
Created itself, literally. And we just allowed it to happen.
Yeah, we had a website, but we didn't know much about websites at the time like we do now. We weren't trying to promote it because it was just kind of a little bit of a hobby for Linda and I at the time. And suddenly it just blossomed.
Chambra went viral.
It really did. And it went worldwide, which really amazed Linda and I, because the only language we speak is English. Linda's learned swear words in Spanish and a few other things, thanks to some of you.
In your coaching. Yes. Thank you, Chambra, for your coaching.
Thank you. But it went international very, very quickly, and Linda and I suddenly found ourselves traveling around the world. And what we noticed right away was the kind of the consistency with Chambra, the thing that makes Chambra, and whether we were in Japan or Germany or Brazil or any place else, there was this amazing kind of similar desire, and it was like no matter where we went with Chambra, we know each other.
There's a look in the eyes, even when you stand out. It's just stunning.
That's why I love when Jean does the Face of Chambra videos. You can just see it in the eyes, and but there was such a similar desire, and we kind of grouped, with the whole Tobias energy, and it was very beautiful. But I realized that we'd all made a commitment. We'd probably all been together at one time or the other, whether it was Atlantis or Egypt or in the time of Yeshua. But we said, we're coming back. We didn't know the date or the year or how, but we said, we're coming back and we're going to do this thing, whatever it is, we're going to do it. And that really brought things together. So often now, people that are just getting into spiritual teaching or channeling will come to Linda and I and say, so how did you guys do it? What do I need to do? And it's like, I don't know. It just happened, which I think is the best way.
We didn't do it, we allowed it.
Yeah, we allowed it, and that's a good way to put it. And I think it was because of all of our desire for this thing we now call embodied enlightenment. I think it's really moved fast. It grew so fast.
Actually, that's been the challenge. It hasn't been to do it. It hasn't been to create it or make it happen. It's been to keep up with it.
Yeah. And back in the early days, Susie was helping. I think it was kind of part-time.
Oh my God, she did everything.
Michelle was doing the website and things, but she had another full-time job. She was volunteering, and it just started to grow so fast.
John Kaderka was a volunteer.
John was handling the electronics, and so many of you were part of that early stage, and it just blossomed. And David, helping out with everything, it was amazing. Linda and I literally had to scramble along with the rest of the staff to keep up with it. That was truly the problem, and to try to comprehend what was really going on. Well, it was quite a huge change when Tobias left. That was a really big change, and I remember a lot of people right up until 2 minutes before Tobias went on stage, people were saying, is he really leaving, or is this kind of like a setup? And I'm like, no, he is really leaving. We didn't know what was going to happen next, and those first couple of months with Adamus were pretty rocky for all of us. particularly from Edith and myself. They were really rocky because we were used to a style with Tobias, and Adamas came in very, very different. A lot of people left. A lot of people that we had known for a long time that were part of the Crimson Circle, they didn't like the style. And I actually have to admit that I didn't particularly like it either.
But consider the dramatic change that even up until that point, when you had always channeled closed-eyed, and it was even before Tobias left, the Adamas channels that you did do were closed-eyed,
Yeah.
like the Dreamwalk
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So this was incredibly different because everyone was invited to be present. There's that eye to eye, that face to face, and you
Yeah.
don't just drift off. You are present, and that was a dramatic shift.
Dramatic. And Adamas insists that everybody be very present, and he uses a variety of antics, I'm going to call them, everything from being very provocative, sometimes entertaining and amusing.
Like blasting a giant glass vase,
Things like that. But
throwing water.
all really in answer to our desire for embodied enlightenment. And working with Adamas over these past years, it's gotten very, very focused on this whole thing.
He's gotten our attention.
He's gotten our attention, and he continues to try to run people off. At the beginning of this year, he did. He said, everybody leave and don't come back unless you're absolutely committed to this. And energetically, it was a huge turning point. Huge. And this year has kind of shown it. So a lot of changes. But what's happened over the years is that Crimson Circle, through the staff, through all of you, and Linda and I, we've maintained very high standards of what we do. Chambra demands it, that when we do a studio, we do a studio. When we do a workshop, it's done with a lot of attention to detail and a lot of professional organization out of honor to the attendees. When they show up, they know it's going to be a safe space. They know everything's being taken care of so they can go through their experience very, very safely. And I just, that's such a important part, I know, for all of the staff and anyone involved, whether they're translators or web hosts. It has to be high standard work. And also, we have the utmost compassion and honor for all who walk this path, for all Chambra. And I think that's so important, and it's discussed all the times during our staff meeting, is we understand what you're going through, because we're going through it also. We understand the difficulties and the doubts and the challenges because we're going through it, and our commitment is to address those needs and to be here in service. The Crimson Circle is truly in service for all Chambra.
Well, and you consider that we have this incredible staff that does whatever they can to take care of this global audience. And if you can imagine, a global audience means that there are people contacting us 24/7 with something special they need or want. So having that kind of a staff that's really willing to support that has been always a major accomplishment, and something that I think Jeff and I are really, really proud of.
Crimson Circle is financially sound. There's some years where we make a little money, some years we lose a little money. It's not our goal to try to make a big profit, because whatever we do make, we put back into the programs for Chambra, for Crimson Circle. We have excellent business management programs. We have a business consultant, a business manager. Linda and I come from a business background. We make about $2.5 million a year in revenue. We spend about $2.5 million, and it's very deliberate. We track how we're doing financially. We know how much we're able to put back into services for Chambra.
We run it in a very sustainable manner.
Yes, and we are a business. We are a for-profit business intentionally, because that way then the government doesn't regulate how you operate. We're free to operate any way we want to because we're for-profit. But in a way, we act like a nonprofit, meaning that whatever extra funds there are go back into services for Chambra. And I'm very, very proud of our business background. The business supports the work. It's not the business that's the most important, but it supports the work, and it allows us to do what we're able to do.
Well, it's that business that that costs money that allows us to give away 85% of what we have is actually given away for free.
Once in a while, people say, well, it's all about the money. And to a degree, yes, the money is important because we do have a staff of 11 people that we have to pay. We have a lot of costs and things that we do. So yeah, we do have to be very, very wise about the money. But on the other hand, we have a consciousness of abundance. We know it's going to be there. We know that it's going to work out. But you know, once in a while, there are those people who say, wow, yeah, you charge so much. Well, we know so well how much we have to charge for a workshop or a product or things like that. And we don't normally talk about it, but just running our website alone costs thousands and thousands of dollars a month. Plus, we're paying bills at the end of the year, $15,000 a year just for streaming services, and then we have servers and all this other stuff. So it's very, very expensive. But again, I go back to our quality standard. When we do something, we want to do it right, because that's what each and every one of you and us deserve. We use excellent resources and technologies for what we do. And again, just what's come to be with Crimson Circle is it's a really professional organization that has tremendous compassion and understanding for Shaumbra, because we are Shaumbra. Taking a look into the coming year or years, we've gone through a lot of discussions lately, and a lot of it prompted by Adamus, but all of our focus and our resources are going to go towards realization, or what Adamus calls embodied enlightenment. We're moving totally away from, I think, what you would call the new age, or even spirituality. I don't know if there is even a word to describe what we're doing, but it's certainly not new age, which we discover sometimes when we do other.
I'm going to add to that. That's the funniest part of all the. When we hear, I'm trying to think of a nice word, but I don't know one. When we hear criticism, and some of the strongest criticism, ironically, will actually come from other New Age ideals and people, which just blows my mind. But that's sometimes where the biggest criticism comes, because they're not tuned in. It's just, we're a different channel. We're wired different, and the more time goes on, I don't realize it so much until we start interacting outside of what we do with other people and other groups, and then it's like, oh my God, it is different. And I don't mean it demeaning to anyone. It's just a fact. It's just true. You can feel it, and you know it. You all know it. You're different.
Well, we've taken. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, see, you're laughing. You know what it means. You know exactly what it means. And you don't have to say a word. You just feel it in your heart. You know it.
We've taken a good hard look at the resources that we have financially and personnel and everything else. And we said we have to devote everything towards this realization, what David referred to before as the poppers, or what, Dhamma says we're like popcorn, it's getting heated up, but this next year, he says, it's going to start popping. So we had to let go of, like, the Awakening Zone and some of the other things that were really fun to do. But when we looked at Awakening Zone, there was so much on it that was distraction. It was good. There were great hosts on there, but a lot of it just wasn't consistent with absolute embodied enlightenment. And that's the key point. That's what we're going to be focusing our energies on, our attention on, our focus, and everything else. Yay. You say yay now, but
yeah. Be careful.
Our commitment is to stay true to Shaumbra's heartfelt desire for realization. As you know, it's very easy to get distracted, and I get distracted, and Linda and staff members, we kind of cross-check each other all the time, saying, is that really in focus with embodied enlightenment, or is it just a nice distraction? Oh, some of those distractions are so wonderful and so comforting, but we realize we have to stay true to the very reason why you're here, why all of you are here on the planet right now, is for realization, for embodied enlightenment. So there's going to be a lot of things that we aren't going to do, we can't do. We get a lot of requests from Shambra. Let's try this project or that. We have to look at it and say it could be fun, it could be profitable, but if it's not in alignment with the realization, we just can't devote any resources to it. The studio here is a great example of what does work, what is in focus. It allows us to do a variety of events and webcasts and different things and connect very, very quickly. We opened the studio about 6 months ago, and I love the place. It's our home, but we can also come here at any moment and do recordings or workshops and connections around the world. So something like this is very focused.
You can feel that. I know you can feel that.
And a big point here is that we respect that Crimson Circle is not for everyone. We don't try to go out and recruit. We never have done that type of thing. We don't ask you to get on your bicycles and go knocking on doors, even in Boulder, which
You just had to go there.
But there's no recruiting. The people who find Crimson Circle, find Shambra, do it energetically.
We're not even, there's a lot of people out there doing spiritual work where they have to save you. You need their technique to save you. They're as Adamus like to say, they're makyo, they're healing waters and oils, and that's just not where we're focused. It's all about each of us being self-empowered and really us organizing our journey. If I get a massage, it's because I want a massage and I know what it's going to do for me, not because they're going to heal me or save me or whatever.
There's a lot of spiritual groups out there, and it's very important that we honor and respect them for what they're doing. But it's also very important to realize that we're not going to serve everyone. We're not a kind of a catch-all New Age organization. Very, very specific, and Adamus said it best about 1.5 years ago. He said, I don't care if it's just five people. So I don't know why the number 5, but I don't care if it's just 5.
I think he was that clear about it.
I think it's because that's how many fingers were on my hand, and it was rather convenient for him to say 5.
So does that mean we won't be doing any Atlantean, Lemurian, changing, serving, saving the world?
No. And once in a while people are like, well, let's go open portals, or let's go do saving the dolphins. And it's like, actually it's kind of fun to do that. But I also realize it can be a great distraction. So you will be in service to Shambra and always use this as a guideline for when we're making decisions and managing the company, that it's about our realization. And that this coming year, I think we're really going to see that starting to come to fruition. And that's good news and difficult news. I know Adamus has been talking to me saying one of the things that we have to be prepared for as an organization is to handle the challenges of what it's like to be a true master, to be enlightened, and to still be in this world. And I know every one of you has had at least a little bit of a taste of that, what it's like to look at the news and deal with going out shopping and dealing with
Jeff,
this.
you can't even handle Costco.
I can handle Costco on Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock. I happened to go the other day right before the holidays. Oh my God. And everybody's sampling food. Get out of my way. Eat at home. Don't go to the store to eat.
Horrid woman rammed him in the back with the cart. Oh my God.
I got stroller burns twice. I'm about boom. Jeez. Like you, we are personally here for realization. Linda and myself, the staff, would never stand on a pedestal and say that we're fully enlightened, because we know we're going through it with all of you, and that's the true joy. That's the absolute true joy. If Linda and I are teachers, you're teachers as well, and vice versa. So we're kind of in this together, and that's what I love about it.
It's my favorite.
Like you, it's our choice and our dream. This is, I know, what I came to the planet for in this lifetime, to be with you, to work with you, to cry and to laugh with you, and to go into our enlightenment. So now comes the time for realization. As Adamus keeps telling us, this is it. There's no more going back. There's no more wavering. There's no more sitting on the fence, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, saying, I'm not sure if I want to do it. This is really the time of realization. And to me, it kind of comes because we, all of us, we trust ourselves, we allow, and we realize. That's really what it comes down to. And I want to add one more thing before we go on break. And this actually was written by Alam Bolea and presented to the staff. And we didn't do anything with it for a little while, but it seems so appropriate to bring it out now. The Crimson Circle Creed. It's a little wordy, but I'll try to read fast. It says, the Crimson Circle acknowledges the inalienable sovereign spirit of the individual. We realize that humanity has entered a period of expanded consciousness. Many humans have a deep desire to experience themselves free of the limits imposed by their past or by other people, and with the freedom to create as they choose, to love themselves and others, and to experience life in joyful abundance. Crimson Circle is in service to those allowing their divine integration by making inspiring information easily accessible through venues, whether in the physical or virtual dimensions, where beings of kindred spirit can experience community and acceptance without formal rules or structures, or membership, I should add. Our loving service is to provide ongoing guidance and support for humans around the world to experience and embody their mastery. And so it is. So I thought that was really beautiful. So Linda and I and the staff always invite any of your questions about Crimson Circle, about whether it's the business side, whether it's the energetic side. We always welcome your questions. We don't often get them. Bonnie every once in a while gets some, but please let us know if you have any questions. But the bottom line is that we're here for each and every one of you, and we're here for our embodied enlightenment. And 2015 is going to be an amazing and sometimes challenging year.
Really?
So, really. So let's take a deep breath with that. We're going to take a coffee break. We'll be back in 25 minutes.